maybe it's, like, growing up in middle school and, like, some girls being bullies, but, like, if you had a line on your face in middle school from your foundation, your neck not matching, it was, like, the end of the world. This is almost a little bit of an intimidating video for me because I feel like I don't really know makeup, and I just have found a few things over the years that have worked. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, Royce and Bekah. I'm Bekah here. Royce is behind the camera doing all the tech stuff for us today. And I am joined today with my lovely friend. Jordan and I met at the hair salon about 3 years ago, and we worked together for almost 2 years. And Jordan is an amazing hairstylist. She also does amazing makeup, and I wanted to do a makeup video, but I'm not great at makeup, so I thought maybe Jordan would want to come on the YouTube channel.
I think you're great at makeup. I think you have your routine down, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to join in, do our makeup together.
I love it. Fun. I'm so glad. So this is the finished product for both of us, and we want to show you guys how we got there.
If you're trying to learn a few tips and tricks, it's a perfect video for you. Watch this video, do your makeup with us.
If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and without further ado, let's get into it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
So we just start doing our makeup?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to clip my hair back.
Yep. It definitely needs to be, like, out of my face, so I'm using 2.
Jordan and I were just saying that we've never, like, really sat down with somebody else and,
doing
like,
makeup?
Yeah, and, like, looked at your, like, setup that you do. And I would say I'm not, like, a huge makeup person. I like it. My mom used to say, if the bar needs painting, paint it. And that's kind of how I feel about makeup. Is this, like, what you're doing is more like what you do every day.
Every single day.
Like getting ready to go to the salon to work.
Yep.
I'm doing like my everyday a little notch above like what I would maybe wear to film with. So let's get started.
I'm going to put moisturizer on if I have any left in here.
So I prime with, right now I got this at TJ Maxx. It's Bekah Skin Love Brighten and Blur Primer because I have giant pores.
I don't normally wear primer. I just kind of put on moisturizer just because primers usually break me out. I have super, super sensitive skin. So I'm just putting on moisturizer, and that's just what I'm using as a base. And I'm using the Simple Protecting Light Moisturizer. It has a little bit of SPF in it.
Oh, that's good.
Because, you know, pale people out here got to protect your skin. I usually let it sit for like 2 minutes, but I don't feel like doing that today. So we're just going to go in our foundation.
Okay.
I have like 3 different sponges. I don't use them all, but I just have 3 different sponges. You can either like...
They're ginormous.
Yeah.
Where did you get these?
Well, you have to... do you ever like use water? You're supposed to run sponges underwater.
Yeah, I totally do that, Jordan.
Because we have the same exact sponge and it's like half the size.
I haven't washed this probably since I bought it.
But I use the Real Techniques one, the e.l.f. one, or I got the makeup trial done for my wedding, and the girl let me keep the sponge, and she said it's from Amazon, but it's just like a beauty blender.
Really?
And it's like, I think she said it's like $3.
Oh, this is way softer. Like, feel mine. Feel how, like, stiff they are.
Yeah, because you didn't run it underwater.
You have to run it underwater, like, before every makeup application, because I spray mine down with my, like, setting spray.
Well, you can do that as well, but you're supposed to really, like, wring it underwater and then wring it out. That's what gives it, like, the bounce, and that's what, like, soaks up the extra product.
Okay.
You learn something new every day.
I have learned now that I need to run my sponges underwater. Did you know that? Okay.
Yeah, I just start with foundation. Foundation's supposed to even out your skin tone. You should never, like, if you still have, like, a spot peeking through, whether it be, like, a blemish, hyperpigmentation, anything, concealer is for coverage. Foundation's just for evening out the skin tone.
Okay, so me starting with concealer, is that bad?
No, it's not bad. I just start with foundation just because it's what I'm used to.
So that's what I've been doing recently. I used to, like, not wear concealer. Just because I don't really have dark circles under my eyes. They're more like bags that I try and eliminate. But I feel like I probably use too much concealer because I feel like by the time I'm done with my concealer, I pretty much have put on my whole foundation of face.
A little fun fact.
Okay.
I don't put foundation on my nose.
What? Why?
That's the first, like, one, allergy season. So I always have, like, I'm always blowing my nose or, like, scratching my nose. And then it's the first place where product wears off on me.
Like, nothing. No type of makeup.
I mean, I'll go over it with, like, blush and bronzer just to kind of blend it in a little bit.
I feel like my redness is right here. And that's what I want to blend.
For me personally, I like that whole, like, I just look like I spent, like, a day in the sun.
Yeah.
Where, like, my nose is a little red. Like, a lot of people are putting, like, blush on their nose and stuff like that. And it's like, if I'm already working with the redness, might as well embrace it.
Y'all, I'm learning stuff today, too.
Yeah, like how you should wet your sponge. For concealer, I mentioned the e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer. Yeah. That's a little too light for me. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me.
Look at that thing. What is that called?
Doe Foot Applicator.
Can you say that again?
Doe Foot Applicator.
Doe Foot? Mm-hmm. Like a deer?
Yeah, I guess.
Interesting. I'm just going to, like, dab it on because I think it would be a good color for me. You might think it looks a little bright, but you'd be surprised. Even though I already did half of my face with my foundation, I'm going to...
Well, I also, like, pretty much cover myself in bronzer.
So it looks out of place when you put it on?
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. I'm going to get it. The stuff about e.l.f. Okay. So I used to kind of be a hater of e.l.f. because...
Really? That was like
it was so cheap.
Well, that was my high school dream, was cheap. But e.l.f. has also, like, I understand maybe back in the day, but e.l.f. has really stepped up their game.
If you're product conscious, e.l.f. is, I feel like, a good, affordable makeup. Because they don't test on animals.
And as much as I, like, love makeup, I'm not one to go and spend, like, $42 on, like, a bronzer. Something that I never think people should spend the amount of money they do is mascara.
No.
Drugstore mascara is the best mascara.
The absolute. I have been using this Maybelline Colossal mascara for probably 8 years.
Yep. When I'm doing my under eyes, I, like, kind of work quickly. Like, I'm going to set my under eyes and pretty much the rest of my face with the original. It's Airspun. I don't know. I don't know the brand.
Maybe that's the brand.
Maybe. Oh, Coty. Coty.
Where do you get it?
You can get it at Walmart, Target. Okay. You can pretty much get it anywhere, but it's this whole thing, and it's like $8, and it's the best loose powder.
Is that what people? Okay, so I watched a makeup tutorial the other day, and someone like literally caked on like this powder underneath their eyes, and I was like, yeah, what the heck are you doing?
I have really creased under eyes. So like I always have to set my face and my under eyes with powder. So I just use the wet sponge and I dip it in once I'm done putting all my liquid products on.
I gotta watch you do this.
And I have to set my under eyes so that way none of the liquid like creases into the creases.
Y'all, watch how I get my neck and make sure that it blends. You're gonna laugh at this. Are you ready?
Whatever works.
And so I don't get a line. It's like, maybe it's like growing up in middle school and like some girls being bullies, but like if you had a line on your face in middle school from your foundation, your neck not matching, it was like the end of the world. You get made fun of a lot.
I wore way too much makeup to school.
Your high school years, you already had like YouTube tutorials on how to do makeup.
Well, that's how I learned to do any kind of makeup.
I had Carmen D from What Not to Wear.
So I might look crazy right now, but that's because like one, I have a giant wrinkle in my forehead. And so I like to set that immediately. I like to set my like smile lines immediately and my under eyes and my eyelids. And so that's like just going to sit on there. And then for the rest of the powder, I'm just going to use like a big fluffy brush.
I'm like impressed at that. My foundation is like it's technically like a liquid compressed.
Yeah, it's like a
creamy, powdery kind of texture. I got it on sale. It was like,
we love sales.
On clearance, and it was my color. And I was like, all right, this is like a $40 foundation. I'll buy it for $20.
Cover FX is really, really good, though.
I like it.
When I used to have really, really, really bad acne in high school, which is why I wore so much makeup. Now I like a little bit of like a lighter coverage and then just kind of go in with like concealer on like some spots that are poking out and stuff because I still have like a little bit of like scarring.
And you do that after everything?
I do that after foundation. And then once I'm finished with foundation and concealer and like setting my face with like powder, my under eyes and stuff, like at the point I'm at right now, if there's anything else that is poking out that I don't like or I don't want to be seen, I will take a powder. Since my face is already powdered, I don't want to go in with creams again because I don't want it to get all, like, funky. I'll go in with the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder.
Okay.
And then a tiny little dense brush.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll go in over my spots and just pat. So, like,
I want to watch you
there's
do
nothing
this.
really sticking out to me. But, like, if you see right there, I have a little bit of, like, redness.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just go in, buff over it.
And just give it a little extra coverage.
Mm-hmm. Just gives it a little extra coverage. I'm not trying to cover my whole face. I'm kind of trying to cover a specific spot, so I want to target product on that spot. Luckily, today, we're having a good skin day.
So I have skipped a step that you did, which was setting, like a setting powder, like your loose powder. I just went straight to the bronzer.
Yeah. Well, I have really oily skin. You have more dry skin, don't you?
I do.
I have really oily skin, so that powder keeps my makeup on for the whole day.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't need primer as much, because I'm setting my whole face with powder. I'm using bronzer now. My favorite bronzer of all time is the Butter Bronzer.
Where do you get that?
You can get this at Ulta, Walmart, Target, anywhere that sells Physicians Formula. Okay. You should smell it, too. It smells like coconuts.
Ooh. It's like I want to go to the beach.
I just love the color of that. I think it's just like they have like a light medium or a medium dark. I think that's the light medium. Well, I got this new one, which I'm actually...
Which is e.l.f.?
Which is e.l.f.
Okay.
Which actually reminds me a lot of the color of this.
Okay.
And this is Forever Sun-Kissed. But it's a primer-infused bronzer or something, so maybe it'll, like, last a lot longer. But I just kind of do, like, a 3 motion. I really like to hit my forehead. Always go back in, like, my temple, so it doesn't, you don't see, like, scalp and then...
I have been doing the 3 motion since I was 15 years old.
Yep.
I have not strayed from the 3 motion.
I love just, like, putting bronzer everywhere, especially this time of year. You know,
you can get away with it. Summer.
I'm not one to be in the sun all the time because I don't want skin cancer.
Yeah.
Which is why I fake tan.
What fake tanner do you use?
I use Loving Tan in dark.
Tan. I use Saint Tropez Mousse one, and I do light to medium because I think I would look like an Oompa Loompa if I used the darker one. But I like it. I love it a lot, actually.
I'm just like kind of like risk it to get the biscuit. So like if it's gonna make me look dark and tan,
YOLO. Just use some more bronzer like on your arms and stuff.
Well, I just kind of put it everywhere. And the 3, and then I, like, blend it down on my neck. But then I also like to put it a little bit, like, on my eyelids, so my eyelids aren't, like, white. And then I have bronzer everywhere, so.
I'm learning so much. So you're at bronzer. I'm moving. What do you think about bronzer with, like, shimmer?
It's good unless you have a lot of texture. I used to have a lot of texture from, like, acne scarring and stuff. And now I don't have any texture, so I would get away with using that. And I think it's pretty if you're on, like, vacation or something. But for everyday use, I would stay away from stuff that has, like, a lot of shimmer in it. Okay. I'm moving on to blush.
Oh, do you use highlighter at all?
I do,
you do it
but
after?
I use it last.
Oh.
I don't use it every day, but I do 2 different blushes. One's a blush, and this is Lorac. This is so old, but this is Lorac Powder Cheek Stain, and it's in Rosy Glow. Okay. And then
it's a powder,
Too Faced Fancy Pink Diamond. I don't know, but I use it as a blush topper for a little shimmer.
This is like
the real deal. Yeah.
I do highlighter first and then blush because I started using a cream blush. I've never used a cream blush.
Well, you should typically use creams first, but
maybe I'll try it today.
Whatever works best for you.
Because I feel like sometimes the highlighter goes too much, and so the cream like protects it from being like too much.
That makes sense.
That's why I do it first. But
yeah.
I use Bekah. I have had this forever, and I almost didn't buy it because it was expensive.
Is
but
that
it's the champagne pop, and it broke. Oh, shoot.
That stuff's expensive. Put it back in there.
I know. I think this is a $30 or $40 something primer or highlighter. Let me just get my life together. I found this from Jaclyn Hill like years ago, and then I finally bought it, and it broke, and I'm like, I'm not getting rid of that because that stuff is expensive.
I now put blush on my nose. If you can tell.
Yes.
I like color. I like blush. I like highlight.
Wait,
I like
is
bronzer.
that shimmer just from your...
This is from the blush topper.
Oh, that's
so I
pretty.
like a little shimmer on my cheeks so when I smile, you can see a little bit of a glow. So that's what I like to do.
You're so glowy. Okay, this is what I do with my cream blush. I literally, because I have this to put over top, this is the e.l.f. blush. It has a little shimmer
to it. The e.l.f. blush, just the blush.
Yeah, it doesn't have a blush 9G04ED. Jordan, stop
Right.
judging me,
Right.
okay? But that's what I was using. But I was like, for filming, I wanted a little bit more color. And so I got this in my Birchbox. And this is the Wander Beauty Double Date Lip and Cheek Rendezvous.
There you go.
Why are there 4 names to this? That's confusing. But I do this, and I, like, tap it on.
Ooh.
And then just you wait.
Oh, just wait.
So I tap it on, and I've heard with cream blushes you gotta work fast or it'll like set.
Yep.
And then I spray my sponge, although I should probably run it underwater.
Yep.
Learning that. And then I blend it with the sponge. And it just like starts giving me like the little, I feel like it's a base for like blush. I didn't use enough.
For somebody who doesn't like do a lot of like makeup, your makeup does always look really nice.
That's so nice. Thank you. This is almost a little bit of an intimidating video for me because I feel like I don't really know makeup and I just have found a few things over the years that have worked and like people compliment me on. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep doing that because I guess it's working fine.
Well, I feel like that's kind of like everyone because I love makeup, but I like everyday makeup. So I like finding products that work for me like every single day.
Yeah.
Things that just like blend well, look really nice, make me look glowy and all that stuff. So it's like you kind of have to find your basics.
Yes.
And work with them.
Yeah. And
I like this palette, the Makeup Revolution London. I really like it because highlights are kind of like iffy with me. I don't like when they look like too chunky. And this is just kind of like nice. This reminds me of the Anastasia highlights that I also really like. But
what do you think about cream highlighter? Do you like it?
I like it, but I don't think it gives as much of a payoff that I want. Yeah. I really like I don't have it with me today, but I really like the ColourPop ones, which almost feel like it's like a bouncy, it's not like a cream, but it's like almost like a bouncy powder. I don't know how to explain it, but they're really, really nice. I like those as well. But I also put highlight on my cheeks, tip of my nose.
I do. I just started doing the tip of my nose and like right at the center of my, which maybe this is bad because maybe it makes me look sweaty. I do it in the center of my forehead.
I don't do it in the center of my forehead. I like to leave my T-zone kind of, well, minus my nose, a little plain, but I usually put it above the arch of my brow.
Okay, maybe I should stop doing in the center of my...
Cupid's bow.
Sometimes because I've seen the like over like this, they'll do like this, like the C motion.
I also I put it under the brow too.
Can you guys see a difference in our faces since we put on our highlighter? Okay, so how does it look? Is it too much on top of the cream?
No.
Because this is like maybe a little bit more than I normally would.
But see, it still looks like really good and natural. Like I feel mine looks natural, but that's because I'm used to looking at myself like this every day. Yeah. But to some people, it'll be like, oh, she has a lot of blush on or a lot of bronzer.
No.
But that's how I like it, and I like color in my nose because I want to be able to like feel free to blow my nose and not think my foundation's like off right here.
Yeah.
But so that's all I do from, well,
what do you do?
I'm saying that's all I do when I just put on concealer, foundation, powder,
but if you're doing this and not like talking about it, it probably would have taken you what?
My whole makeup routine usually takes me like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I used to fill in my brows with a powder, and I got this Benefit Gimme Brow in my Birchbox, and I thought I'd never use it because it's like more for volume, which it says on the container, but I actually like it because right here where I feel like I have a bald spot in my brow,
it fills it in a little bit.
Yeah, and then I brush it out, and it gives me that like feathered like look.
I use the same thing. I used to fill my brows in really hardcore. But now I used to use the Anastasia like brow powder and like the pencil, or not the pencil, the brush that comes like with it. But now I just use the spoolie, which is the like little brush end of it. I brush all the foundation out of my brows, and then I go in with something similar. It's just by ColourPop, and it's called the Brow Boss Gel. And I use light brown just because I have dark roots, some might say. But I like to go for like a little bit of a lighter one, even though my brows are really dark, just because I have like blonde hair. They say if you have blonde hair, your eyebrows should be like 2 shades like darker, and then if you have dark hair, 2 shades lighter.
I have a cowlick in one of mine. One of my eyebrows goes straight up, and the other one goes this way. And so I've always had to trim this eyebrow. One time I tried to like let it go, and maybe I feel like Cara Delevingne, is that how you say her name? She's like a British model.
Cara Delevingne.
Yeah. she has the same thing. And I saw it, and she was, like, rocking the straight up, like, eyebrow. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do that, but I haven't been brave enough to try. So you're not, like, into the eyeshadow right now, right?
No. I mean, I put a little bronzer on my lids, but that's about it. But my last step, which, well, I should have put, I always use Aquaphor on my lips.
Oh, really?
Always.
Even if you put, like, lipstick on?
Even when I put lipstick on, I'm just going to put a little bit on now, but Aquaphor is, like, my saving grace.
I got this, like, little, it's a eyeshadow in my Birchbox, and I kind of want to try it, because all I've been doing for my eyeshadow is I'll take, this is So Susan Blush and Glow. I don't even think it's for your eyeshadow, but I just, like, put a little bit on the edge of my eye, like this, with my finger.
It looks pretty. I like the color.
And it works.
I go hardcore with mascara. That's my favorite part of my makeup routine. I love long lashes. I love thick lashes. So what I use is I just curl my lashes, and then I put on step 1, which is the Voluminous Lash Paradise Primer by L'Oreal, which is like a white primer. It makes them thicker, all that kind of stuff. And then I let it dry for like 30 seconds, and then I go in with a couple coats of the Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara in Blackest Black, and I just pile it on.
Just go crazy. I have never used the
Lash primer? Eyelash curler?
curler.
Really?
They freak me out, for one. Like, I don't know why I have this irrational fear of eyelash curlers. And 2, my eyelashes, which, hate me if you want, they're already pretty curly. And so when the one time that I used it, it, like, curled back into, like, my lid.
People always, like, compliment me on my eyelashes, and I was like, well, it's because I use lash curler, primer, and, like, 5 coats of mascara. That's probably why.
And I will say, I think that's a trick that I've learned and kept, is the layers of mascara. I feel like makes a huge difference. Twisting, when I put on my mascara, putting it on both sides. You put it on both sides.
Yep. But I do it really lightly when I'm kind of going on the top, so it doesn't get, like, super clumpy.
Yeah. And then layering. Like, you do one side, and then you do the other. And then you do one side, and then you do the other. And
it's just kind of going, like, back and forth and stuff. Yeah. I feel like everybody has to find that, like, routine for themselves. Their, like, eyelash routine. I sometimes put it on the bottom lashes if I'm, like, feeling it. But then sometimes I just, like, don't feel like it because I like how big my eyelashes look on the top. And I just want them to stand out.
Okay. So you feel like sometimes mascara on the bottom lash takes away? Okay.
I think so.
So I'm done, and I'm gonna do a little trick that I've learned, and we were actually talking about it before we started, was when you get mascara on your lid, if you wait for it to dry and then take a Q-tip and kind of roll over it, it'll actually come off without smearing it. So be patient, let that stuff dry, and then you get it with your Q-tip. I'm going to actually finish with a little
while
gloss.
I let my mascara dry, I'm going to put on my, like, lipstick and stuff.
I've been using NYX Lingerie in 04 Spirit recently, and I have been liking how it looks on film.
I love lip liner. So I just overline, like, a little bit with, like, the NYX, just, like, a lip plain one. It's like in mauve, and I'm just gonna line my lips. And then I like this Maybelline lipstick in 15. It's called, like, Born With It, and it's just like a light shimmery pink color. And that's pretty much what I do. Do you have a Q-tip?
I do have a Q-tip. Here you go.
And I'm just gonna get the extra mascara off anywhere it is.
Do you use setting spray?
Not really. If I do, I like the one by Morphe with Jeffree Star.
So that's it. That is our everyday makeup look, Jordan's and mine. One thing that Jordan mentioned, and I'm gonna just put you on a little pedestal, that everyone has their own little routine, and they have to figure out what works for them. What works for her might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for her.
Especially when it comes to, like, different skin types and different, like, tones working for different kind of skin tones and stuff. You just have to find what works for you.
I love that, because we're all different, and that's beautiful. And that's, I think, what's fun about makeup, is trying stuff out and just figuring out what works for you and what you like and what you're willing to do in the morning or before you go on a date or whatever. Leave us a comment if you have any questions, and if you have any questions about makeup that I can't answer, I'm gonna ask Jordan.
Yep, feel free to ask me. I'll answer what I can.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. appreciate it. That's it. Thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.